Yeah, you're tuned in to Untapped Hip Hop. This is Mic Bles, live and direct. You know what it is, man. Oxnard City. We right here, man, representing this official Boombap shit, true to the culture. You know how it is, man. Back.
Hey, yo, we rose from the sediments. It's hip hop regardless.
So, what got you into the culture?
You know what? Even since back in the day, like, I think hip hop just always been one of those things that's around, like, in the hood, you know what I'm saying, and in those communities like us where we're, you know, older brothers hanging out, dancing, doing the kid and play, and things like that. You know what I mean? And you find, like, I remember finding a Fat Boys tape at school. You know what I mean? Like, so, but I think it's one of those things where you don't even realize it's a part of your life, where like it's influencing you. But it is, you know what I'm saying? And then once I got older, we used to do like little recordings in the how you could, I don't even know if you can do it these days, but press and record and stop and record or whatever it was, and talking into the speaker of the actual radio speaker of the boombox and recording on the tape that way. But besides that, like as I got older, like in like junior high, one of my dudes, Sci-Fi, I always tell this story when I can. Like he has family in Brooklyn, and they would send him tapes, underground tapes, right? And so we would hang out, chill, and he's just like, "Yo, let's freestyle and let's do this." And we were probably like 7th grade or something like that, 7th, 8th grade, like the summer of the 7th and 8th grades, things like that. And then we would, and that's how we got into it. And then turns out I have. You know, I didn't grow up with my family, like a big family like that, just like my mom's or whatever. So it turns out when I got older, I realized, I came to find out that my grandpa's like an old mariachi that used to tour and things like that. So it was almost like no wonder it picked up for me naturally almost as I went on and started freestyling to myself. And then I was like, dude, I could have like used that information, moms, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I started picking it up and I started getting a little bit better here and there. And then from there, it's just house parties and so on and so forth until we you know, streets to the stages, you know what I'm saying? Pages to the stages, things like that. So, but ultimately, I think it was just always around, and then it's just one of those things that you grow up doing, you know, or breakdancing or trying to breakdance. I think everyone that's involved with hip hop at least gave it a shot, you know what I'm saying? Like I used to be able to hit alphas or something, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? Like not. And then graffiti, we started as a graffiti crew, me and my homies in Oxnard, JDIPOT. So we still even rep that, you know, I came in with the music thing. So I think it was always one of those things just growing up, like hip hop was just always around, and then you really just about delving into it and really making it something that you represent and like being a part of the culture as a whole, as opposed to just being around it, you know.
You had the opportunity to perform with other legends,
right,
like KRS-One, Guru.
Yeah.
What was that like?
That's a funny. I'm glad you asked that. That's a funny story. Well, it's not really funny for me. Like anyways, we did a show in Santa Barbara. I think I've only done one show with KRS. Yeah, and so we opened the show. It was this great show. Santa Barbara always shows love. And he didn't have a DJ that night. And my DJ is DJ Greenleaf, and he's always he's usually with me when I'm doing shows, things like that. And KRS didn't have a DJ that night, so he asked Greenleaf to do it, or the promoter called us, whatever. So Greenleaf's gonna do it. Like, all right, you're gonna DJ for KRS tonight. Like, all right, bet. So we go down there. Boom. I do my set. Dope, love, all good. KRS does his set. Right, and I don't know the story till later. KRS ends up performing for like 2 hours, right? Like just wearing you down. He's just wearing us down, you know what I'm saying? But I come to find out later, so apparently he finished his set around 20 minutes. You know what I mean? And he goes to Greenleaf and he's like, "Yo," so from what Greenleaf tells me, he goes up to him and he's like, "All right, that's the set. Like cool, you know that we're done, you know." And then Green, without even thinking, he just kind of was like, you know, "Oh, that's it." Like not in a bad way, but just kind of like caught him off guard. So he's like, "Oh, that's it? Like, is that it?" And so he's like, "Nah."
What you mean?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So he goes, "Yo, all right, Well, and then so when I see it from the crowd, I remember that point, right? Because he looks at him and they have this conversation, and then he just keeps going, right? So we didn't know if it wasn't part of his set, right? So he just goes, all right, well, and if everyone's seen KRS, like, he freestyles and things like that in his show, but the way it happened was just funny, man. And then he's like, yo, all right, play some shit. And if you know Greenleaf, like that dude, and not only is he actually has 805 titles for DJing and mixing and shit, but anyways, like, he's a head, you know what I'm saying? He is a true hip hop head. So like, for him to just like, yo, play the shit, it was like, yo, it was just right time. Like, that's the right DJ, right? Mm-hmm. So he just goes in and starts laying down all the tracks, man, all the classics, all the dope shit. And KRS just starts breaking it down for like another at least hour, dude.
Who else influenced you as an artist?
And I spoke on this the other night, and you always forget artists, you know what I'm saying? You get off the interview and you're like, oh yeah, I could have said this dude. But like, it kind of goes off to what I was saying earlier, like where you're just kind of like a part of it. So it's like, influencing me as a rapper is one thing, right? But then your influence prior to that, like your musical influence was just shit that you just got influences growing up, right? Mm-hmm. So I'd have to say like Dre, Snoop, Be Real, Defari, the RZA, and then the Wu-Tang. But the RZA was like, when I would hear him on freestyling and shit, like I know he just did a recent freestyle like on the radio or something, but it was a trip because I used to remember hearing him on the Wake Up Show and shit like that. Back in the day, like Defari and these guys. Mm-hmm. And then like as I started rapping, or then Tupac, of course. And then as I started rapping, it would be like Biggie and Nas and Rakim. And I think even like Rakim before I was rapping, I used to really like, Common was a big one. Before I would rap, like Common was out. Like I would always be on Common shit. Big Pun. Yeah, Big Pun was a big one. So when Pun came out, I was like, dope, it's accepted now. Now I can go and I can rap and I can be like, well, fuck it. Look at this cat. You know what I'm saying? There's a reference now to like somebody that actually is my skin color, right? And he's Spanish. Mm-hmm. And it's not like, and he did break down that door, you know what I'm saying? So I felt that directly, like, okay, shit. You know what I mean? And I don't know, like, people, Be Real didn't really, maybe because he wasn't a solo artist, or I don't know what it was, but Be Real, it should have been that for him, right? Right. But I don't think it was as much as it was when Pun did it. Maybe because it was just on a higher level. I don't know. Like I would do shit like, yo, write a verse to the same record to see if I were to come after Nas, would it stand its weight? You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of shit that I would do. Like, yo, let me rap. Let me do the third verse. You know what I'm saying? Let me do the second verse on this track. and you know what I mean? And I would have to rap over them, just turn it down, and I'll be like, yo, man, I'll feel like, at least, I don't even remember if it could have probably held up, you know what I'm saying? But at the time, you know what I'm saying, at least I felt that way, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, yo, I think this verse could have like been on that track if it would have been, you know what I'm saying? So just stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like magazines on the wall, things like that, you know what I mean?
When you moved to the East Coast, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's when you start focusing more on your craft.
Yeah, exactly. Like before I left, I only had 3 songs recorded, like ever, right? Now probably like 4 or something like that. And we were even rapping to like a dual tape recorders. I think that was before I left. Well, yeah, we did that. Oh yeah, so then we had the tape recorder, and that's what we started recording on. But we didn't have no idea of like song structure and how to really, and like actually recording a verse, just seemed hard to do. Like to knock it down just seemed hard to do at that time. Like I remember being like, damn, it never sounded good. Like fuck, how come it never sounds clean as fuck, But this first recordings, like I think, matter of fact, I do have that fucking tape still. One of those tapes in the trunk of my fucking car. I have one of those tapes and a composition book. I have several because I think I was just moving and I put shit in my car. I'm pretty sure I still have the tape. I have like a couple tapes. So yeah, and you hear it just like hella rushed, off beat type shit, you know what I mean? And so we had those tapes, and we put it on. I think at that time we did put it on CD. It was just transferring over CD, but that was just an easy way to record because we didn't know any better. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know about having a digital recorder or shit like that. So for us, it was like, okay, this one has a tape, that one records the tape. So that was just for us like the no-brainer. Like, okay, this records our shit.
You guys hustle, your way. And then going into that question, getting your name out and participating more in hip hop community. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? I know when looking at your website, you used to like go to backstages for concerts and just like, get your name out.
Right. No, I think what it is now, it's like, because we were in the time where you're coming into like CDs were happening, right? And I know it ages me, right, a little bit, but to me, I don't really see it that. I don't look at things like that, right? Because you're only as good as your last rhyme, right? That's how I like to look at things. But so if you're looking at from tape to CD, and then that's like the internet, and then the streaming and things like that. So might have been a little late on certain things, right, just because of life. But then as you look at it now, and you're able to use the tools that we have now to get your name out there, right? Like Instagram and videos and things like that. So I think as long as you're using those type of using what's available to you, you know what I mean, and it doesn't cost anything. You know what I mean. That's why I try to tell some friends of mine, like, where they might be thinking, okay, they want to travel more, they want to go on tour, or they want to do this and that, but certain aspects of their life is not letting them do that. Well, then don't do that then. You know what I'm saying? Work within your means, right? But that doesn't mean you can't go 120% within those means, right? Until you're ready to go do that next thing or do this thing over here. You know what I'm saying? So, like with the website, like all that type of shit I learned myself. You know what I mean? Just being on there, just working it out. Independently, self-promotion, you know what I mean, and it ends up being like I don't even think half my friends are as savvy as me on the with the computer, anyways, right? So, but at the end of the day, I think one thing to know is like, yo, you no one's pushing as hard as you. You know what I mean? Like no one, and maybe it's not this verbatim, right? But it's like nobody cares about you as much as you care about yourself.
Growing up in the golden era of hip hop, how do you feel about the current state of hip hop it's in? Or do you feel that some people are misinterpreting that term hip hop?
Well, yeah, like I've had my ups and downs with that question, right? But where I'm at right now is like I guess one way to put it is and I'll answer the question directly, right? But one way I like to look at things is if you have a problem with it, or if you're not something you're feeling, or you feel like it's oversaturated with stuff, with the type of music, right, the type of sound you're not feeling, well, then go out and do something about it, right? And so that's kind of what I'm doing. Like I'm putting out my content and my movement and my lyrics out there, so that way people can listen to that and be like, okay, this is what I like, right? I don't like that, right? But as far as the state of music, it's like, and I think a couple of people said this, and it made good points. It's like you can't really be mad about it. You know what I mean? I think a lot of it's just the structure of the business. You know what I mean? Like if you I think the powers that be, or the people that are in the buildings and the places that are funding it. And that's what's making money, then that's what they're gonna do, right? But and you can't be mad at a young cat coming up.
Yeah. You
know what I'm saying? Like you really can't. And I think maybe people might misconstrue as what I do is when I might be like, oh, I don't fuck with, because I went and said or posted before, like, you don't fuck with the trash rap. This is the real Boombap shit, which is true. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not directly gonna just knock the whole shit. You know what I mean? But I'm not down with cats that are rapping over the lyrics or rapping over their music, like a lip sync, like a sing along. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not down with that. We never did it. You know what I'm saying? I never did. I worked hard not to do it, right? I worked very hard not to do it, and it was a thing. It's a skill, right? Like, to us, it's like, oh yeah, well, that's how you have to do it, right? But the time and effort it takes to do that, you know what I mean, is is go now. If that you see a lot of people not doing that, it's like, okay, I know why, because it took the time and effort to do it. So you can roll up drunk and high and fucking put the mic in your mouth and dance around. Fuck it, you know what I'm saying? That's the easy way, and it's all good, whatever, man. But I don't fuck with that, you know what I'm saying? And I won't, and I'm not gonna hold my tongue on it, you know what I mean? And then the ghostwriting thing and that type of shit. So I'm not down with that type of shit. But I'm not gonna knock a dude for trying to come up and putting in and put and getting his hustle on and shit. But I think the climate has changed a little bit where before you say things and you can call people out direct about their shit and it's true, right? And you're just kind of like, okay, that shit's true. That fool's whack, right? But now it's like, you're a hater, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a fine line right there where if you start going off on it too much, then you're looking like the mad rapper or something, right? So so I prefer just to put out my music and put out the shit that I'm putting out. That's like anti that, you know what I mean?
When it's all said and done and you're about to hang it up, what is it that you want people to remember you by?
That's a good question, man, because there's been those times, you know what I'm saying? There has been those times, like real moments where you're just like, damn. And it's a tough one because, if you're really thinking about that, and it was because of that, like you lose your passion for it, something might be happening in your life, and you're just like, you know what? I'm done with that, right? Or the plane's getting heavy, you got to throw the bags out, and hip hop might be one of them bags. Like, yo, I can't deal with it no more, right? And I've had people throughout the years, for their reasons, like get off of it. Like, yo, I'm done, blessed, like I'm good, and I just have to accept that. Like, all right, dog, you know what I'm saying? For whatever's going on in their life, and I've had those moments too, like maybe once, you know what I mean? Once where you're really, really, really thinking about it, and then eventually you get re-inspired, maybe take a break, get re-inspired. That's why I tell cats, retiring on Facebook and shit, I'm retiring. You know what I'm saying? Well, what are you retiring from? Like, it's cats that you might not even know, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I'm retiring. Like, nah, son, like, what you retiring from, dog? Like, from what, bro? Like, what is it really that's happening? Like, I don't even see the work like that, right? So, and that's just clowning, you know what I'm saying? But it's true shit that I feel like, that I think about, like, what? Like, what do you mean you're retiring? Like, take a break. Like, relax. If you need to take a break, take a break. You know what I mean? You're independent, you know what I'm saying? Like, half the cast is independent. Now you don't really need a label, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just about putting your money in the right places and have the right music and things like that. So, ultimately, you do want to have a legendary status within your city, within that area. So, because hip hop is, who's from Pomona, you know what I'm saying? And you got Sugar Free, and we were just talking about them. Just did a show with them, and you think about New York and these guys. So, you definitely want to be a legend in your own space, you know what I'm saying? So, I definitely want to go down as a legend in Oxnard, and so somebody can say like, yo, this dude really did his thing from Oxnard, and he came out, he's successful at it. He paved the way and kept the shit going out of the Ox. So ultimately, I think you want to stamp out your pillar on the hip hop building. You know what I'm saying? You want to have your name on the hip hop Walk of Fame. You know what I'm saying, or something like that, or whatever it would be, right? So you definitely want to be somebody like that, where you look at like when unfortunately when like legends pass away, and then you see like someone like P, like Prodigy, and everyone's throwing the murals up worldwide. So you definitely want to be somebody that actually changed, that helped people, or they got your music, you touch lives and shit. And it's not even about paper so much, it is about influence and having an impact on like people, you know what I'm saying? So if hip hop, and I always said like if I could do for others what hip hop did for me, then I did my job, you know what I'm saying? So ultimately, that would definitely be something that I'll be thinking about as far as be remembered for in hip hop. But then you also want to be remembered up there with the best lyricist that ever spit or put their pen to the page, you know what I'm saying? You're talking about like Chino XL, Sick Jacket, Eminem, Immortal, and these guys, you know what I'm saying, that are just like crazy lyrical with the bars and like unparalleled to none, you know what I'm saying? Pun, you know what I mean? And these guys are like, haven't missed a beat, you know what I'm saying? So definitely another thing I want to be remembered for is being one of the top lyricists that ever did it, you know what I mean? Because that's what we do.
What advice can you give to an untapped artist? Untapped artist being a person in your position from like 5-10 years ago, or like potentially a scenario meeting your younger self and then giving advice now.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is to stay focused. You got to stay focused and disciplined. And I think as a younger cat, like that's something that's really hard to do, because you're coming into yourself, man. So and especially if you're really serious about music, you got so many other things that you could be doing with your time than fucking writing rhymes and spitting the best bars and coming out with the best music, man. Because you're surrounded by these influences like women and alcohol and weed, drugs, whatever. And nothing's wrong with that, you know what I'm saying? But you got to stay focused on what the task is. And it's like with anything else, with any kind of work that you're trying to do, with any kind of profession you're trying to do, you got to really be focused about it. Because like with sports, for instance, you know what I mean? Like if you're trying to take it to another level, you got to be focused, you know what I'm saying? And I think and especially with hip hop, because so much of it's like in the lifestyle. So it's easy to just be like, well, fuck it. Let's do the pre-party thing, and then let's show up to the show half fucking buzzed or whatever. Yeah, I mean, maybe if you fucking not rapping on your shit, you know what I mean, like we were saying, then you can maybe get away with that shit. But if you got a bar out, it ain't gonna happen. So that's like a big thing. But other than that too, it's like, man, there's a lot of different things you got to look at, man. Are you willing to sacrifice for it? You know what I mean? Because a lot of people aren't willing to do that. You know what I mean? Like some of the opportunities that I've had to meet or to be involved or do music with some of these legends that have already stamped out, in my mind at least, and in a lot of the hip hop community's mind, I've already stamped out. They already got a pillar on this thing, you know what I'm saying? So they've already had to take those sacrifices. So some of the times that I've had opportunities to meet up or go on tour or do this show or do that, I've had to make decisions like that you don't even talk about. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knows about it, right? So you make a couple calls like, yo, you gonna come through, you gonna do this, or like, yo, can you make it? It's like, nah, but he just might be your hip hop hero too, but you're making a choice because you got to go to work or you got to go do something, right? So you have another commitment that is holding you back from meeting, even just meeting somebody, right? That you've been listening, you've given hip hop 20 years, 15, 10 years of your life at that point, right? So you're gonna say no to something because you have a 9-to-5, right? Because you have a fucking job or something that's like, what the fuck? Like, what are you getting out of that besides paper, right? And I understand their sacrifice, but that's when you start to see like who's really gonna be down to take themselves and push themselves, right? Like you guys could be doing anything else on your fucking Saturday, right? But you choose to be here. I'm sure there's other things to do, right? So, we make these choices to be here for whatever it is, right? So that's why, like, I think a lot, that's why when you see, I'll see cats from jump, like I might not even show cats love for the first 2 years I see them on the Facebook or the gram or whatever. Like, I won't even, like, acknowledge it because I only seen you for a little bit. It's not even hating or nothing. It's just like, yo, I haven't even seen you long enough. Like, let me see when life gets in the way, when things start to happen. And let me see if you sticking around with it, or you really down to do it. You know what I mean? Because then that's when you know, like, because Cass has really been doing it for a long time. They've sacrificed. You know what I'm saying? They put in the work, and anybody in the game, has that respect for each other because it's almost like without saying. It's like, yo, we know what it took. You know what it takes. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that you see in younger people right away. That if they're really about it, or if they're just part-time in it, you know what I mean? And so that's one thing I think people got to understand is like, you got to sacrifice for it, because I think now the dynamic has changed too with the social media and things like that. So it's like, it's easy to get your pump up, you know, because your shit's blasting off on your likes and shit like that, and or whatever it is, you know. But that's one thing of it, you know. That's
Right.
only one thing of it. So, you know, I think the main thing is just staying focused and working hard, and you're gonna know the sacrifices gonna come, but are you down to do it? You know what I'm saying? Are you down to take those steps and those jumps? You know, to fucking be who you want to be. You know what I mean? So I think I'll just leave it at that. You know what I mean? Because we could probably drop gems all night, but we'll just leave it at that, man. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Mic Bles, live and direct, Oxnard City. You know what it is? This official Boombap shit. You know what I'm saying? How we do it. Check me out on blessthemicrophone.com, www.blessthemicrophone.com. Everything's there, and at Microphone Bless, Twitter and Instagram. That's what it is. Blah. Yeah, Mic Bles, Untapped Hip Hop. You know what it is, man. Oxnard City, we're in the building. It's how it is, man. I'm gonna tell you guys like this, man. I spent years in the lab constructing my acapellas, mastering the craft, writing bombs, we representers. Metaphors, similes, words describe imagery. Nowadays clowns anything for publicity. Highly regarded, gates heavily guarded. Learn it from the martyrs, go back to where it started. Hold the crown down, yeah, torches for the culture. Underground representatives, black and yellow posters. Worldwide travelers, savage, radical battlers. Do it for the love, y'all can put away your cameras. Too much stamina for amateurs. I'm tearing tracks out the frame. Yeah, right out the parameter. The metaphysical, lyrical analyst, it's my analysis. Glamorous cats left in paralysis. Stop giving props, it's a lopsided synopsis. Spit it sick or you have no other option. I'm live from the dungeon, rise from the asylum. I swore solemnly to eradicate or I got him. Respect, you gotta earn it, always word it with a purpose. Watch for these underground clowns live at the circus. That's what it is, man. Mic Bles, 1, 2. We right here, man. Untapped Hip Hop. Yeah.